Okay, some track day prep before the first track day of the year on my new 890R Duke. Pretty simple and straightforward. As KTM likes to say, the bike is pretty much ready to race. So a few track day specific things that need to be taken care of. Taping over the headlight and the turn signals on the front. There's a guy on the Weira forum selling a proper number plate for this, and I don't know, it'd be fun to just swap out the whole unit for a number plate and not have to worry about any of these being damaged in the event of a crash. But with these things hanging outside of the turn signals, I'd hate to see what kind of crash would end up damaging these two items. So I don't know, it'll be something I'll think about and see how the track day goes to start with. So yeah, this will add at least 4 horsepower, anodized orange KTM part. This is something I've had for years. It's a brake lever guard. This is actually a KTM specific part that I had on my 690 when I raced it back in 2017, 2018, I think. So anyway, I've held onto it. Of course, it slides right in there and nips up tight. I've been able to remove the tail light and turn signal, or the tail tidy, completely, and just replaced it with a little aluminum plate that I fabricated. This is a bit overkill. There's a little hole there that the wiring goes through, but I thought I'd cover it up. I'm not sure, like, so rainwater doesn't get in there. Well, again, I'm not sure how much I'm going to be on the track if it's a wet track, because as you can see, I can lean 10 degrees either direction before I hit what's basically a full-on slick. So anyway, it just cleans up the whole back end a bit anyway, and who knows, dirt or dust or something could get in there even if it is dry. So some more anodized bling, of course. This is really nicely made. Nice CNC, I think, is the name of the company. It's Chinese, but it came here within 2 weeks, and it looks like a blatant ripoff of the ones that were first fabricated in the western part of the world and have been ripped off. So who knows how long the anodizing will hold up. But that's CNC'd, so it's quality stuff. I'm not sure if it's the greatest aluminum, but again, all it's doing is acting as a sprocket guard. Came with this little chain guide here too, which allows it to move a bit as the chain goes over it. And that's about it. Rad guard hasn't shown up yet. Front fork slider hasn't shown up yet. So not that it's going to make a huge difference on how much I push this weekend. The fact of the matter remains, it's a new bike to me. I've got about 2,000 kilometers on it, which is, I'm happy with that. I've only owned the bike for, let's see, it's July 21st. I think I've owned it for maybe a month now. So I've obviously used it and have really enjoyed it, as most everyone who buys these bikes do. The last thing is I went to the manual and I set the bike up according to the sport settings. So as we know, these bikes are pretty cool, quite adjustable suspension, decent quality WP stuff. So I just firmed it all up, and the good old bounce test in the garage shows that it is a bit better damped and certainly a bit firmer. You can adjust the preload in the rear shock, which I think is set up fairly soft as it is. No preload adjustment in the front forks, but I did certainly firm up the compression and rebound damping. And aside from a GoPro mount on the front, she's ready to go. So I can only do one day this weekend due to other commitments, but hopefully the weather cooperates. I know this bike has a rain setting, but it'd be fun for my first day out on it at the track to have a nice dry track, but we shall see. As we know, this thing here goes in that thing there. So if the conditions are favorable and I'm willing to share how fast or how slow I go this weekend, we'll have some onboard video in a little while. So we'll see how the weekend goes.